5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't even know what's happening.
Put it in sport mode, and you're gonna fly.
Just exactly how awesome was it?
The mighty Nissan GT4.
You got the Mustang, the Camaro, the Challenger, the Corvette, the Viper.
America.
Damn, I forgot the bananas.
I love this. Yeah, we'll do it live. Yeah, we'll do it live. The crashing and the banging and the booming. That means it's Thursday. That means it's time for the TopSpeed.com podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our wonderful Thursday show. Like always, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about crazy, cool, fast, and awesome automobiles. We'll probably get on wild tangents and talk about nothing that's related to cars in any way a few times too. But hey, welcome.
Exactly.
I am Christian Moe, and I'm happy to have you here. Joining us today is our editor-in-chief over at TopSpeed.com, Mr. Justin Coupler. Hello, Justin.
Hey, everybody, and I have 2 words, Holy Los Angeles. Well, that's 3 words, actually.
Los Angeles.
It has officially blown up.
Or
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
If you've seen the new Disney animated movie Big Hero 6, that'll make sense. Great movie, by the way.
No, we're not children, so we don't see
Yeah, you
this.
know, we both have young
Great
children and we
movie.
don't see it.
Great movie. You know what? You both have children. Go see
I
the
know,
movie.
we haven't seen them. Isn't that kind of bad?
No, it's because you have children, so you never go anywhere because that means you have to take them.
Yeah, Redbox is a great
Yes,
thing.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Redbox, Netflix, all the way.
All right. Also joining us is Mr. Mark McNabb. Hello, Mark.
What's up, guys?
That was
I don't have an intro.
anticlimactic.
I don't-
Yes.
Yeah. Short and sweet. We got to get to the point today. We got a lot of crap to cover.
We do have a lot of crap to cover, so get your coffee ready and let's get moving. Let's start with our... Oh, wait. First, thank you guys for sending us questions. Again, we have questions this week, so yay, that's awesome. Also, tomorrow there will be a post up on the website about these things. These are video games. They're F1 2014. I have 12 of them, and we're giving away all 12 of them. So if you like racing video games, like I have a whole box full. Like
Well.
I have a whole bunch of them.
Well, there you go.
So if you guys want some, I'm going to have those to give away very soon. So pay attention to this website tomorrow to learn how to win.
If them crashing and banging on the floor broke them, sorry, no warranty.
Yeah.
You know what?
If you get your
If
disc
that,
broken in half.
if that did break, actually, and I ship it to you and it's broken, just let me know, and I'll call Codemasters and we'll get you a new one. So how about that? I will supply a warranty. All right, let's jump into Weekly Wheels. We're going to start with Mark, who's been driving a car, 4 doors, almost 300 horsepower.
Rawr. But it's a Chrysler 200.
I made it sound good to start with, though.
Yeah, you did. And it's got all-wheel drive. And a 9-speed transmission, which is ridiculously stupid. Yeah, so overall, I like the car. I will say that. I like the 3.6 Pentastar. It's a great engine. I like that it's all-wheel drive. I like the interior. I like the way it looks, actually. Overall, it's a nice car. I do have some complaints on, number one, the 9-speed transmission. I like the 8-speed, the ZF, that's in basically every other Chrysler car, but this just, it's only one more gear, but it's too much. It just takes a long time to shift, takes a long time to downshift if you peg it. It doesn't seem finished, almost, like the programming's not quite there yet. And I don't know, it didn't appeal to me that much. Also, the interior has this weird, because it's the 200S, the Sport, it has this weird blue tint leather, and it's on the dash, it's on the seat, center console. It does not appeal to me at all.
You don't like
So-
blue leather?
No. Yep. I mean, this is like Lamborghini blue leather. This is terrible.
Sounds like
So-
almost this Peugeot I had a couple years back, like a Peugeot 508 or something like that. Had all blue leather everywhere, and it's the ugliest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so it reminds me of my childhood youth when my church used to have this Ford Econoline van with blue vinyl seats. It was like an 86 edition.
I know exactly
That's
what van you're talking about.
That's what this reminds me of. Okay, like the Ford Club Wagon Econoline. That's
Yep.
what this. That's what it reminds me of.
Ouch.
My 65 Ford had those same blue vinyl seats.
Yep.
Oh, and the worst is when those things crack and you're wearing shorts.
Well, these were cloth seats with leather bolstering. So it was cloth in the center and leather on the outside. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that was just a preference thing. Some people might like that. My biggest complaints of the interior, though, was the sound deadening. It was a quiet car when you're driving it, but when you turn the radio on and it had this, expensive radio in it, it was like, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't remember what
stereo. It doesn't matter. It was a banging stereo. Anyway, the whole thing would shake. The passenger side A-pillar would buzz, the trunk would buzz, and like it just sounded terrible. Like,
Dude, man, that means you got a good system when you're rolling down the road and it goes.
Yeah, yo.
yeah, I mean that's so like the stereo was okay, but it was just outmatched. It outmatched the car completely. Otherwise, I like the car, and I think it's definitely a good step in the right direction from the 200 of yesteryear. What a terrible car.
the Sebring.
The Sebring, yeah.
The Sebring slash
Sebring.
200. Yeah. So I mean, this is a far and away a better product than that, and I like it. I think it needs a little bit more refinement in a couple areas, and it would make it a much better car.
Okay, so I was not aware that they actually sold that in an all-wheel drive model, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
My mother's got a 2013 model. She's got one of the higher-end decked-out limited trims, whatever, with the leather and the navigation and the sunroof and all that stuff. And she's got that Pentastar and the old 8-speed. And you're right, that 8-speed's a pretty solid little auto box.
I like that.
To be honest, like, with that transmission and that engine, there's almost no car that can be bad. You can have cars that aren't great, but with that engine and trans combo, like, you can put it in anything and it'll be more than bearable. So I'm happy that Chrysler has products like that, but it's a little sad to hear that the 9-speed is worse.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's quite as fully baked as the 8-speed. So
Isn't the 9-speed an in-house product? Or is it also a ZF box?
I don't want to speak on that. I think it's a ZF, but I don't want to say.
Okay, because I mean, if it was an
Yeah,
in-house
I don't really
box, then
know.
that would make
That would
more
explain
sense.
it, yeah. The other thing I had about the interior that was really weird was the gauge cluster looks beautiful, but in the daytime, it doesn't matter where you try to adjust yourself to see. There's always a glare on it. Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, and yeah, the 9-speed is a ZF box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, come on, ZF, get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Well, I just think they're going a little bit crazy with the highway miles per gallon, so when the RPMs are like 500 when you're going 70, so.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is
then just buy a diesel.
Yeah, my thing is why don't you stick to a 7-speed and then make that last gear just super high?
Super tall, right?
And you're not having to cram 9 gears in a transverse-mounted transaxle, saving weight, saving complexity, saving cost. I mean, all you have to do is make the ratio higher.
Well,
Right.
I think
That's been my. Go
I
ahead,
think
Justin.
one of the issues might be the step down. When you're going to go past someone, if you go from a super tall gear and then down to a passing gear that's shorter, significantly shorter, I mean, that can cause some serious ruckus when you're trying to pass someone, so that might be why they're not doing it.
Well, but in all of
Only
these
logic I can
cars,
come up with.
in all these cars that I've been in, there's not the sudden step. But if I go to pass somebody with like an 8-speed box, it still downshifts 47 times to get me to third freaking gear, so I can pass somebody anyways.
Yeah.
So it just takes longer because I have to go.
Well, not everybody's passing like they're driving an F1 car either, Christian.
I don't pass like I'm driving an F1 car, but it's like, so if you have an 8-speed box, it's like 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all super tall overdrive gears for fuel economy. So if you want any sort of power, you've got to downshift all the way to the lower end of the box again.
True. Yeah.
So the Volvo, I was driving a Volvo this week. It's an 8-speed. At 70 miles an hour, the difference between 8th gear and 7th gear is like 400 RPMs. Like, that's it. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So it's like if I really wanted to pass somebody, I had to downshift a couple of gears.
Yeah.
Oh, and another complaint about this 9-speed, if I got on flat ground at 70 miles an hour and put the cruise control on, it would be in 8th gear. And that really ticked me off. I would have to shift to 9th, and it would drop the RPMs down to a reasonable level. Well, to like 1,200 instead of 1,400. But it was like, I'm cruising. Why aren't you in 9th gear?
That actually could be a fuel economy thing based on, because an engine has like a sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's
so
true.
with the amount of power you're producing at 1,400 RPMs versus 1,200 RPMs, the power difference might be enough to let the car move on its own easier, and that's actually saving you fuel, which is how they tune all that crap. But yeah, if you're going 75 miles an hour and your car is still not in top gear, you don't need the top gear.
Yeah.
You don't. I just
Well, as I always harp on, I think as we see these extended gear transmissions get more and more common and technology gets shared more amongst all the manufacturers, we're going to see more of these step-style transmissions like what BMW does, where it can shift between gears. You don't have to go down 5 gears to hit third gear. It'll just go from 8th to 4th or 8th to 3rd. You don't have to jump down all those gears. I think eventually we'll see that.
But I still think it's still mostly pointless. Like, it really, my Golf, I can live with 3 gears even though I've got 6. Like, all I need is 1st, 3rd, 6th. That's it. Like, yes, I will lose a little bit of performance and a little bit of fuel economy, but I can just live with 3. So, like, if I had an extra gear, if I had one more extra gear that was just an obnoxiously tall overdrive gear, like, that's all I would need. And that's all 99% of any car needs. You just need 6 gears. Really, you could do with 4 or 5, but get your 6 gears that are your standard, on town up to highway speed, and give you a 6th gear that's short enough that you can actually do a little bit of light passing if you needed to, and then just give you an obnoxiously tall 7th gear to go the fuel economy route.
Yeah. Heck, my dad's Corvette's got 3 speeds.
Right? And it's just fine.
It works just fine.
All right. Anyways, we'll go on and talk about my Volvo.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
I was in the 2015 and a half, which is important. The half is important. S60 sedan. So in almost every way, it's nearly identical to the XC60 SUV I had a few weeks ago. Even down to like the exterior color. I think the X60 was white, and this is like an almost white silver. But it's the T6 Drive E, which means that even though it says T6 on the back, it has a 2-liter turbo. That's supposed to be the fuel-efficient engine. And it's a solid little car for the most part. I honestly don't know if I liked it as much as I liked the XC60. Because they're almost identical, but the XC60 is like bigger and taller, so there were some things that I forgave the SUV for that I don't want to give the sedan for. So my sedan had some options. I had a beautiful looking 18-inch alloys that came with like a sports handling package. So I had the world's tiniest little connecting rod across the top of the suspension towers. I mean, it was half the diameter of a dime. It said R design on it. But like the sort of wibbly wobbly handling that the SUV had, that I'm like, well, it's an SUV. The sedan has almost the same suspension setup, so it feels the same sort of way, and it's kind of wayward and kind of twitchy. That's not good. It's 300 horsepower, front-wheel drive, so obnoxious torque steer, and the torque steer that was bad in the SUV is even worse in the sedan because the sedan weighs less. So the wheel's just fighting you everywhere you go. But still incredibly beautiful. Like it's so well designed. Every shape, cut, and curve on that car, I just adore. The interior is beautiful. It had these great leather sculpted buckets. Steering wheel felt great. All the controls are laid out perfectly. I had that beautiful frameless rearview mirror again. Like, all that stuff is good. And I'm just like, but it's not any better than the SUV, even though I've lost a few, inches in width, and I'm like a foot lower and all that sort of stuff. It just didn't feel inherently better or sportier than the crossover, and that sort of bothers me. Also, I had the same issue I had with the crossover where fuel economy on the sticker says 35 mpg highway, 24 city, and 28 combined. I put it in Eco Plus mode, and I babied the hell out of it for like a 35-mile highway journey just to see how far I could stretch that number. And I only got to like 34.2 or something. So being as careful as possible in the like most eco-friendly mode the car has, I couldn't hit that 35 mile per gallon highway number. I just couldn't do it. And it comes down to this idea of, yes, the 2-liter is small, but it's got a turbo on it the size of my head to make that 300 horsepower. So anytime you give it any sort of gas at all, it just swallows fuel.
Do you have a boost gauge at all?
No. I mean, there might be one somewhere. There's like a million settings inside of that car that you can access via the LCD screen, including one. I will say the car was terrible when I got it. Like, the worst thing in the world. And then while digging through the settings, I found a steering force button. And so I took the steering from suck to sucks way less. So that helped. Like when I first got it, like you could breathe on the steering wheel and the car would flip a 360. I mean, the steering was obnoxiously light. And so anytime I'm driving anywhere, if I hit a bump, like I was fighting the wheel the whole time, the car felt really loose and wobbly. Once I got the steering dialed back up to a higher force, was a lot better. But yeah, I don't know if there's a boost gauge somewhere that I was just missing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah.
Go ahead. Well,
I was going to say that really helped me fuel economy wise in a car that I was just in. That was the STI, because I watched that boost gauge and I didn't let it get into boost when I was trying to conserve fuel. So.
But in boost is where you want to be all the time.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
I don't think my Miata ever comes out of boost.
Second gear, it's 60 miles an hour.
I might have been doing a little bit of that in the STI.
Yeah. 7 mpg.
A little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. Because actually, that's going to be your weekly wheels next week, isn't it?
It sure is.
So we're gonna share weekly wheels stories.
Ooh.
But yeah, the thing I do have to give the S60 is it's fairly reasonably priced. Mine, after all the options, which includes all of the safety systems. So I've got blind spot monitoring, and I've got the can't crash into people thing, and radar guided cruise control with 900,000 distance settings, and parking assist and driver awareness. It tells if you're going to sleep and it makes noises. And I even have a lane keeping assist. And this isn't like the obnoxious thing that beeps when you go over the line. It'll actually nudge the car back in slightly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've always liked that.
I can't stand the beeping thing.
No, the beeping is the worst thing in the whole wide world. I hate that. Especially here in Tennessee, where all the roads are this big and the lines are roughly painted, and so the car can't see the lines usually. So it picks out things that it thinks is a line, and it's just where they've repaved the road over itself. And so then it starts beeping because you're just driving in the middle of the road. Yeah, they're terrible. But so yeah, the little lane keep assist is kind of cool. I fiddled with that a little bit. I still ended up turning most of those systems off because they annoy me. But I like that they're there. But despite all of that stuff and my 300 horsepower turbocharged engine, thing was $46,000. So that's about $1,000 more than the Avalon hybrid that I had a few weeks ago. It's like $4,000 more than the Avalon gasoline model. But I averaged 28 miles to the gallon, so I got almost a combined rating out of it. And I think it's extremely nice inside. It is nice to drive once I got things sorted out. It's just as nice as the other guys to drive. I like it better than the Lexus ES. This is slightly cheaper than a Lexus ES. It is a little bit smaller than those cars, but if I was going to buy a luxury front-wheel drive car in that $40,000 to $45,000 range, this would probably be the one I'd take home. I like the way the engine responds the best. I like the way it looks the best. I like the seats the best. I like the interior technology the best. It's not as fuel efficient. It is slightly more expensive, but I would sacrifice the gas price and a little bit of the wallet hit to have the car that I felt was nicer to look at and be in.
All right.
So it's not a great car, not a terrible car. Oh, it does have that Volvo on-call thing, though, which is the coolest thing ever. I have an app on my phone, and I can track it via GPS. I can open it up and see what my dash is, if I have any warning lights, how long until I need a oil change. I can lock the doors from anywhere I have signal and the car has signal to the satellites. I can start it that way, like all that sort of stuff. It's really cool.
It'd be funny to mess with the next press guy to lock his doors.
Thought about it, to be completely honest. The thought has crossed my mind. But one thing that did slightly annoy me about that is I can remote start it with the app. Cannot remote start it with the key fob.
Oh, that stinks. That's weird.
Yeah, there is no remote start button on the key fob. I have to do it in the app. The app does give you settings, though. You can set how long you want it started from 1 minute to 15 minutes in 1 minute increments. So you'd be like, I want the car to be started for 8 minutes today.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just sort of interesting that they give me all that adjustment. But yeah, that's my general rough verdict of it. It's a solid buy. I like it. I think it's probably better than the competitors in that same general segment if you don't need the extra space and you don't mind spending a little bit more on gas.
Cool. Well, let's get into some news.
You mean the good stuff?
Yes.
The good stuff.
All right, let's start with the big one. Justin, please tell me about the awesome, oh my gosh, super awesome, I want to have sex with an ATS-V.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so after that nice little leak, Cadillac decided to stay the course. They didn't do the thing like so many manufacturers do. Okay, it's leaked here you go. They held the course. They waited till LA and released the ATS-V, and oh my God, is it everything that it seemed like it was going to be, and then a little bit more. We got a video beforehand that we roughly times 3 of us, myself, Christian, and Cyprian, tested it with our stopwatches and came out at like 3.5 seconds roughly from 0 to 60. It turns out, though, we were a little bit off there, as I kind of figured it was kind of a fibbed number on the video. It turns out it's 3.9 seconds to 60, which is still as fast as an M3 and M4. So
and also as fast as a Corvette.
Yep, as fast as a Corvette. And here's the really cool part. And since it's not German, it has 185 mile per hour top speed. That's even better.
And because it's not German, it comes with 3 pedals.
Yes, manual transmission with no lift shift and rev matching. So you can just bury the pedal in the carpet and just slam through gears as you dang well please without having to worry about it.
Oh, I'm so excited about this car.
And when they said, and they were actually close on their horsepower numbers, they said more than 450 horsepower, more than 440 pound-feet of torque, ended up 5 over each one here. 455 horse, 445 pound-feet. The torque comes in a little high for a turbo. You usually expect somewhere in like the 2,000 range. It's up at 3,500, which is a little high for the modern turbos. Still, though, I mean that 3.9 seconds is awesome. The chassis seems kind of similar to what BMW did with the M, except they didn't remove all of the bushings. They left some of them in there, so you're not going to get metal on metal clanging while you're going over a cobblestone road. But they are significantly stiffer. The entire chassis is about 25% stiffer than the ATS, which is 50% stiffer than everything else in its class. Yeah. So it's going to be a pretty dang good chassis. Pricing's still out there. Most people are saying around $55,000. That sounds about right. It's going to come in just under the M's, probably.
I'd say they're going to shoot for like a $3,000 to $5,000 price gap between the M.
Yeah. And with every V model, it's not the best looking car in the world because Cadillacs are, to me, Cadillacs looked like they said, okay, guys, just put a spoiler on it, put a front splitter on it, put a distractor on it. What?
Justin, you are removed from your position. You are fired.
Hey, I'm just speaking my. I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm not saying it's ugly.
I will say that the CTS-V, I was sort of iffy on the styling. The ATS-V is the most beautiful machine to come from Cadillac in 50 years.
The coupe looks okay. The coupe is decent. The sedan looks weird to me. I'm sorry.
I disagree. I like that too.
See, I just think it looks. I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm just saying it looks almost forced. But I know it's all there for a purpose. I know everything's functional. It's not there just to look good.
I'm so glad that manufacturers have moved away from these crappy like Buick portal things. It's like, oh, let's slap this thing on the car. Oh, look
at our giant non-functional hood scoop.
Yeah, like now everything is like, no, this came from our racing division and it works and it pulls heat out of the engine and it increases downforce. Everything works on these cars nowadays, and that is so fantastic. I think that is amazing.
I just remember the Mustangs from like the early 2000s had a big hood scoop on the front, but it was just a big hunk of plastic.
Oh yeah, those were terrible.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm not. I'm just saying with the V's, it sometimes feels as if they're forced. Although I know they did it for purpose. I'm just explaining that maybe the M is a little
Forced what? I don't understand. Say, explain yourself.
Okay, I'm just saying that the styling of the ATS, okay, in my opinion, my personal opinion, it
In
just
your
looks
wrong
like,
opinion.
hey, if you think I'm wrong, then so be it. That's the beauty of opinions. But I think it doesn't quite look in place on this. Like with the M's, they didn't make them outrageous with the body kits. They restyled the front end a little bit. They restyled the back end a little bit. This, it looks like it's just, hey, here's a whole bunch of stuff we got from a Jegs catalog. I'm sorry.
Don't say that. Come on, man. This thing is beautiful. Look at it.
It's a good-looking car. I prefer the look of the M. I guess I prefer more the classic look. I don't know.
That sharp center black piece on the lower grille and that hood scoop, oh man, it is awesome. And from like almost complete profile, like that one shot that they gave out that's kind of a 3/4, but it's mostly the profile shot.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that awesome LED cut in the headlight that comes up and creates the crease, and then it just follows it all the way down the car to the rear taillight. Oh, it's beautiful.
You see, I kind of went backwards on this car. Typically, when a new car comes out, I don't like it at first, and I start liking it more. This one, I loved it when it first came out. I thought it was beautiful, but the more I look at it, the more I'm just picking out little things here and there that just look awkward to me.
Yeah. Like I said, if I was to give this car any complaint, it would be the nose looks a little bit like the SS sedan.
I was thinking the same
Possibly
thing. Like, especially in that real front 3/4 view, that lower air dam looks a lot like the SS.
But like that's the
only. That's not a bad thing,
right? And that's like the only thing. Like, it looks kind of like another sedan. Otherwise, I think it's stunning.
But it may be completely different if I see it in person. There's so many cars that we see in pictures and we don't like. Like everyone thinks the Porsche Panamera is god awful ugly in pictures. You see it in person.
That car looks terrible in photos.
Yeah, you see it in person. It's completely different. It's actually a good looking car. So
well, I don't know about that, but my only thing with this car is I kind of wish it had Alcantara steering wheel and shift knob.
You know, that'll be an option. Don't worry about it.
I hope so. That and the gauge cluster. I don't know what Cadillac's doing with their analog gauges. They just need to throw those away and go with the full digital, like in the CTS. The optional package in the CTS, it just looks so much better. The whole car and the interior as a whole is so angled and so detailed, and there's all these intricate cuts and angles. And then the gauge cluster is flat, with flat numbers and like flat plain needles. And it just, it's such a letdown.
So I can see that, but from like a usability standpoint, I love that it's a black gauge with crisp white letters and bright red needles. Like, it's super, super easy to see, and it's very familiar. I mean, like, there's a reason that Porsche still uses analog gauges in everything that they have.
Yeah, analog gauges are fine, and they're great, but I think these could have been designed a little bit better because, honestly, they remind me of an early 2000s Buick.
Well, it's still a GM product, I guess.
Yeah, there's still going to be some of that stuff, unfortunately.
Just gonna say it.
I do have to say, I need GM to send me one of these cars immediately because I have a friend, actually the best man at my wedding, who lives in Texas, just bought an M4, and I want to take this down to Texas and show him how he made the worst decision ever.
This is a beautiful car. It really is.
And I'm just thinking, he lives in Dallas, which isn't too far from Austin, which is where Circuit of the Americas is, so I should make some phone calls to the COTA people and try and get some track time, and I will show him just how silly and slow his little German machine is compared to this badass piece of American awesome.
Okay, quick question for you guys. Okay, we saw the spy shots long ago that had the vertical slats on the grill. Which one do you guys like better? Do you prefer the vertical slats, or do you think they did the right thing with the honeycomb?
The honeycomb.
I thought the vertical slats looked awful in every way.
Okay,
yeah.
so we will agree on that one.
I think it looks like a trained cow catcher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then we all agree on that one. Because I heard some people saying, "Oh my God, I wish I would have left those things." I think they were god awful ugly.
Yeah,
In our rendering of it, when we put them on there, it looked terrible.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
But over time, maybe this car will grow back on me, and I'll think it's absolutely gorgeous again. And if I had $60,000 in my bank and it was in front of me, I'd probably still buy it. So.
And it's like that's the thing. For the same price as the Corvette, and it's got almost the same level of performance. Like, 4 seats, real luxury.
Hell of a lot more comfortable.
I mean, I'm just like,
magnetic ride,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
PTM modes, launch control. Like,
Yeah.
this reminds me a lot of the ZL1.
I mean, it is, but it's a cheaper, better version.
Yeah. Now I'm curious if...
It's like the Corvette. It's a better version of a Corvette.
I'm curious if this chassis can actually hold all-wheel drive. That'd be nice.
Okay, let's not. No.
Why? Oh,
Well,
what's wrong with that?
My thing is, this is what the new Camaro is going to be based on too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's move on from this piece of American muscle and talk about more American muscle, because we have flat, plain crank V8 goodness from the Mustang GT350, which is awesome in every way as well. America's just nailing it these days, guys. Because you were saying, like, oh, it's got awesome V8 and a manual transmission and magnetic ride control, and now the Mustang has all of these things as well. Ford has finally, totally, officially, unveiled the new Shelby GT350 Mustang, and it is everything we had hoped for and more. It is the most powerful, naturally aspirated V8 Ford has ever built for a road car. It is the first Ford machine to ever use magnetic suspension, like Ferrari uses in the 458, and Cadillac uses in the ATS-V, and Chevy uses in the Z06 Corvette. It's the first flat plane crank V8 from Ford for a road car, which essentially makes it the same kind of engine that a lot of Ferraris used to use, and it's basically a race car engine. And it's just, there are videos out there. I think we've got a couple of them on the site. You have to find them and listen to them. This is the meanest sounding thing in the entirety of the world. Like nothing else sounds like this machine. And it has more than 500 horsepower and more than 440 pound-feet of torque.
All is right in the world.
Right. And it comes with 3 pedals. In fact, that's the only transmission. And it comes with a special Ford-tuned Torsen Limited slip rear. So, like, those are all the things that you could, if you were just a person going to build a car, like, oh, I'm going to use suspension like we get in a Ferrari, and I'm going to give it a race car flat plane V8, and it's got to have 3 pedals, of course. Oh, you know what? A Torsen Limited slip diff. That sounds great. And then Ford just went, all right, here you go. Like that's essentially what has happened. And I want to drive this thing so badly.
And I have to say that this is the best looking of the Mustangs in my opinion, because I think the front dam just does so much, or the front bumper just does so much more for the shape of the Mustang. Because the base Mustang, it still looks good, but it doesn't look, it's just missing something. And I think this lower dam just does a whole lot for it.
Well, it's not just the front bumper, like the whole front end of the car, like
open grill, everything.
Everything. Well, the entire car is different. From the doors forward is completely unique. The hood is like 2 inches lower. It's lower down and tighter on the outside edges by the fenders, where the fenders kick up is stiffer. The front end is actually a little bit shorter. Basically, they took the engine and bolted it to the front of this Mustang and said, make the bodywork as absolutely small as humanly possible to fit around the engine and the tires. Like, that's it. And yeah, everything is more aggressive. So there's big heat extractors on the hood now. There's this awesome front lip. The whole bodywork on it is just huge and it's angry, and there's giant openings for brake coolers, and there's oil coolers that you can get for this thing, and there is a special there's a special body under tray that forces air into an optional rear diffuser cooler, or I mean a rear diff cooler. Like, this is a legitimate track car. Like, this is a focused at the Z06, focused at the Camaro Z28. Like, this is a dominate racetracks Mustang. And it is the best thing in the universe.
Yeah, if you look at the site, our review on it, you can actually see the side by side, and the differences are really striking between two, and the whole front end just kind of shrinks in around itself. It's really neat.
I really love right under our drivetrain piece. There's a direct, full-on shot of the nose. You can really see how sharp and cut the fenders are now, and where the hood is. And I mean, it just makes this thing look angry and hateful. And I like that it's got black stripes, because those add 10 horsepower, and the pony's gone, and instead of 10 the pony, yeah, and the big pony's gone out of the center. They've got just a little Shelby badge over on the side, and it's just
Yeah.
It's clean and it's stunning, and
Yeah, it looks really good. I just wish they would have made the entire lineup, but that slope down front is just so much better. So much better.
Also, I believe this uses more aluminum, so it weighs less. I mean, it's wider track also. The front wheels are wider apart for better handling. Like, everything that you could do to make this thing handle better, they've done. And the brakes, it has 15.5-inch brake rotors on the front end.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Oh, goodness.
Like, that is the second most ridiculous set of brakes I have ever seen on a car.
Yeah. I mean, my first car had 15-inch wheels.
Right. Right. The brakes on this, though, are not as ridiculous as the brakes on a car we're going to talk about in a little bit. The new Audi Prologue concept.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
That has 20-inch carbon ceramic rotors.
My God.
Wow.
Mike, those are like $300 a piece.
No. Try like $3,000 a piece.
God.
You could stop a space shuttle with those damn things.
Yeah, I mean, like, to hear how much these carbon ceramic rotors cost for some of these upcoming cars, it's crazy. But to imagine that 20 inches, that's
Right.
crazy.
The good thing, though, is if you don't track them, they will last the life of the car. Actually, they will last longer than the car. So they never have to be replaced.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. Let's talk about more fun stuff that's not as fast. Mark, discuss with me what would be the best family hauler for someone looking for a small crossover.
Well, if I was looking for something that was fun and sporty and good looking and didn't cost too much, maybe had some decent decent power to it.
And
Maybe
look-
I'd get, maybe I'd get the Mazda CX-3 because it is brand new and it looks fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Mazda knocked this one out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
I love the way this looks. It looks really cool. A-pillar rearward, it looks kind of like the Lexus NX. Kind of that real like hunchy, like aggressive, sporty look. This thing has big wheel arches. It's got a big flat nose to it. And it's a real sloping hood, real bubbly greenhouse to it. It just looks really, really cool. The back end looks really sporty. It's got dual exhaust, big tires, big wheels. So yeah, I mean this thing really, I don't know. It looks right.
And that new Kodo front end that they're putting on everything, it
just works really well. Plus, you can get this with all-wheel drive. So it's either front or all-wheel drive. And we know that it's coming with that 2-liter Skyactiv engine. It's going to be a 4-cylinder. We don't know the horsepower yet, but that is the same engine that is in like the Mazda 3. So in that application, it makes 155.
And the Miata.
Yeah, and the Miata. So 155 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque. So while it doesn't sound like a lot, weight in this car should be in check. It should have gone on a diet before it goes to production. So, it probably will do all right. So expect maybe like a 7-second 0 to 60 run.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect this thing to weigh more than 200 or 300 pounds more than a Mazda 3 hatch.
Yeah, I mean it just, it's a light little car, unibody frame. So Mazda's pretty good about cutting weight. So I think we're gonna be cool on that. On the interior, it's really interesting as well. The dash has a unique look to it. It's got that 3 binnacle gauge cluster thing, kind of like what you'd find on like the CX-9. Then it has these 3 round air vents, with the 4th being a rectangular vent stuck on the passenger side. It's really strange. I don't know why they didn't add a 4th round vent.
Yeah.
But there it is, and it's got this iPad-looking infotainment screen on the dash. That's kind of where everybody's going these days. And, it has 3 real knobs for the HVAC system, and we like that.
Yes, we do.
Yep. So, it looks really, really cool. Mazda thought about how the interior is designed really well because they made the rear seats closer together and higher up so they can see out kind of above the drivers. It's got a little stadium seating going on, and it should be pretty comfortable. So.
Yeah, I've done a lot of Mazdas lately. The 3, the 6, and the CX-5, and every single one of them has the exact same thing. They all have extremely nice interiors. It's something that Mazda's done a really good job with, making them nice and quiet and comfortable.
So yes, CX-3 verdict. I give it 10 out of 10. I approve.
You
Yeah.
actually approve of a small crossover?
Look at it, and it's a Mazda, so it's actually going to sit lower than most crossovers, and it's going to. This is going to end up being a crossover, like the Mercedes is.
GLA, yeah.
Yeah, like the GLA is, and like the Juke is. It's a
Yeah.
crossover in the sense that it's a really nice hatch that's got a 2-inch lift on it.
I'm gonna
Yeah, and my thing is like I wish it had more power. Maybe they'll come out with a Mazda Speed version of it or something like that. Would be really cool. But it just I think it looks right. It's priced right. We're gonna guess it's around $20,000. Of course, that's for the front wheel drive. So I mean, we're excited about it. I give it a 8 out of 10 until I drive it. So
Yeah, I give it a solid 8. This is one I told my wife. I said, you know what? I wish we would have waited on buying our car.
you can always
That's what
trade.
you get for buying a Kia.
Hey, don't make fun of my Kia. My Kia's been good to me.
Hey, we're gonna see you in a Kia. All right, let's move on.
All right. Okay, Mark, we're gonna stick with you, but I'm gonna have a lot to say about this.
Oh, I know you are. Just screw it. Just you go ahead. The Golf R variant. This is your car, Christian.
Almost. If it was that new 268 horsepower diesel, I would be at the dealership now.
And if it had a stick.
Yes. Well, so here's the thing about the new Golf R that nobody seems to be talking about because Volkswagen's a bunch of evil, hateful people. The Golf R available right now. If you go to the Volkswagen website or the press site or anything, they talk about how it is this much money. Like even the pricing announcement, it is this much money with the DSG transmission, and it will go this fast with the DSG transmission, and it will get this fuel economy with the DSG transmission. And then if you go look through the whole press release, down there at the bottom, they mention it is available as standard with a 6-speed manual. So they don't want you to know that you can get one that way, but you can. That's for the normal Golf R. This Golf R variant is just a Golf R Wagon. You guys probably remember a while back we had spy shots of what appeared to be a Golf Sport Wagon with huge, like 19-inch alloys and stuff, and the big exhaust bombing around the Nürburgring, and we're like, this is a Golf R Wagon. It is, and it's real, and it exists. And if you want to see it in the United States, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get on whatever, go to your local VW dealership and tell them that you like this thing. Because officially, even though they brought this to LA, this car is not for US consumption. But they brought it to LA and they revealed it in LA to gauge interest. If they get enough interest to show that they can at least make a little bit of money, this could show up. So it is a Golf wagon, so you guys would know it as a Jetta Sport Wagon. They're getting rid of the Jetta Sport Wagon name, and we're now getting a Golf wagon. That is because North America Jettas are no longer built on the same platform that the Golf is. So we're going to get a Golf wagon, and it's a Golf R. That means 300 horsepower. It has a Haldex all-wheel drive system. So imagine a Subaru STI that is built really nice and has extra space.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be a Volkswagen buying one.
Yeah.
And I can rationalize it to my wife.
And it'll probably be cheaper because I have an STI this week, and mine is $39,000, and it doesn't even have navigation. I guarantee you a Golf R Wagon would come in at about $37,000.
Yeah.
Because the Golf R is $35,000, so give it a $2,000 price hike to get the long roof version. I want this, all of this, in every way.
I'm just hoping they didn't bring it to LA just because, well, that's the last real major auto show of 2014. I hope they actually did bring it here to gauge interest.
Rumor among the grapevine is that is the exact reason it's here. Just like a few years ago, Volkswagen brought over, or I guess it was in late 2012, Volkswagen brought over a Kermit the Frog green Golf GTD that was Eurospec, and they passed it around to journalists to let journalists drive it and to drum up some news to see if people were interested in buying a hot diesel version of the Golf, which I want.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
need this, man. I have to say though, the interior of this thing looks fantastic. Like, if you just swapped out the badges, you would have no problem calling that an Audi.
Right, like that's always been the thing about VW, and it has caused me issues with gauging cars, because yes, I have a Golf TDI, and it is a $26,000 Golf. But the interior in it, because I just have the cloth seats, is essentially identical to the interior you get in an $18,000 Golf. So you can get an $18,000 car that looks and feels as well built as an Audi, and then someone brings me a $25,000 car with crappy interior. I beat on that thing, because if Volkswagen can do it for $18,000, why can't you do it for $25,000?
Yeah. I mean, it looks fantastic, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. All right, let's move on.
So bad. Let's talk about F-Types.
Hang on, do we have any questions or comments that's popping up on people? You know?
Nope, nothing yet. I don't think we have a Hulty today.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks he's missed us live.
No, he was here last week.
Well, I mean 2 weeks so far. Then he was here last week.
Oh.
He was up the week before.
Well, 2 out of 37. We'll give him that.
All right. He's
I guess
slipping
we didn't go live until episode 14, but that's still 2 out of 23.
now. Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
slipping on us.
he's doing way better than 5. Like he's at like a 96% success rate here. Well, he's still getting an A.
Okay, we'll cut him some slack.
But let's talk about the F-Type, because there are now like 14 of them.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, there's 12 of them. And the most awesomeness of them are the all-wheel drive, the fact of bringing the R to the convertible, and the fact that we're now getting a 5 or 6-speed manual transmission in the V6 models, the V6 rear-wheel drives.
Yes.
So, basically, what they're...
I'm calling it now, V6S Roadster manual transmission.
So basically what they did, okay, the old F-Type V8S convertible is gone. No more, no longer around. That's now replaced by the R. But then the Rs are all-wheel drive now, so you can't even get a rear-wheel drive V8-powered R. Kind of strange they did that, but what happened was with the all-wheel drive system they put in, it delivers 100% of the torque to the rear wheels until you need it to change. Then it puts up to 50% to the front wheels. So it drives like a natural rear-wheel drive sports car and everyday driving. So it's not until you actually need that all-wheel drive that it goes away from the tail happiness of a typical F-Type, which is kind of nice. I thought that was pretty cool. But I got it. Sorry, my computer just crapped out on me. Hang on a second.
we can still hear you, so you're all good.
Okay, sorry. My computer completely locked up on me. But the 6-speed transmission is a ZF gearbox, as everybody else uses. And the manual's available in only the V6 models. So you have the 340 horsepower base model and then 380 horsepower S model. So you get all kind of manual transmissions in those. And yes, like you said, the convertible S will be the most awesome one on the planet. No word on pricing though. Where was it coming? The spring of 2015. Probably get pricing sometime early next year, I'd say. But I don't expect too much of a hike. The big hike we're going to see is with the convertible, since they got rid of the S, the V8S. You're not going to see a massive hike with the R. But all good things come from Jaguar, all-wheel drive. You'll love the 3 pedals. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And the cool thing is we might actually see a small price drop for the V6 models.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, yeah.
You know, I mean, not much, maybe like a $2,000 drop or like a $1,000 drop, but I could see them going, well, now that we have the manual transmission that's cheaper than the ZF 8-speed auto, we'll just, you know, you'll pass that on, because then that positions you even better in the market against some of your competitors.
But I think what we're going to see, though, the issue with that is because, yes, they did drop it down to a manual, but now you're going to get the in-control suite, and you're also going to get the big bad Meridian sound system. So that may actually offset each other, and you may just...
and it may just break, just call it even.
Break it even, put the manual transmission in, but give you the high-end sound system and the in-control for free.
All right.
So probably going to break even, but you're going to get a whole hell of a lot of nice stuff with it.
All right. We're going longer than I thought we were. Okay, we're going to go ahead and speed things up. Let's talk about a Toyota, Mark.
Yeah, so real quick, this is really, really cool, and I'm not big on the whole like green movement or whatever like this, but I have to give this props. It's the Toyota, and I hope I pronounce it right, Myra, and it is a fuel cell vehicle, and it is the one fuel cell vehicle that actually makes sense. It's got a 300-mile range, and Toyota is offering free hydrogen for 3 years. Now the downside is you can only buy this in some of the upstate New York type areas and in California, and that the only reason is because that's where the fuel is. So Toyota is investing a lot of money into actually building the infrastructure of the hydrogen tanks, so that way these cars can actually proliferate and come into the market. So, we got some good news on that. So the car costs $57,000, but you get free fuel for 3 years.
And there's going to be some federal credits also on that.
Oh yeah. I mean, so that could bring, with the federal credits of $13,000, that brings the price to $45,000 for a car that doesn't
free fuel,
and that comes with free fuel.
And
that
here's
seems like a good deal to me.
Here's something where I think Toyota was absolutely genius with that free fuel thing, because right now hydrogen is still expensive. It's very expensive actually. It's like $50 to fill up a tank. But I think what they're doing is giving people free fuel for 3 years is giving it a chance for this infrastructure to build. They're going to get the free fuel, so now they want to buy the car because they don't have to pay $50 to fuel it up. In 3 years, they might have enough infrastructure where it drops back down.
Correct. Now, I have read several things on the whole free fuel thing, and the reason that it is free is because technically there is not a proper way to measure the fuel as it comes out of the tank. So they cannot properly charge you for it. So what they're doing is since there's not a standardized measure of charging people for the hydrogen, they're just going to give it to you. That's going to help, boost the market. Oh, I can't buy a car with free fuel and things like that. So I mean, yeah, there's that reason, but mainly it's they don't know how to charge for it.
Yeah, because I was actually looking at a few of the stations that were selling the fuel, and it was like some were doing it by kilograms, some do it by gallons, some do it by volume. I mean, there's all different ways of doing it. But we're going to see this stuff get standardized. There's like 10 different ways that can make hydrogen pull it from the air that we breathe, manufacture all stuff. It's also a byproduct of creating gasoline. So there are so many ways to make it. They just have to standardize it all.
And my favorite thing about this car, get this, right? So it's got this 3.1 kilowatts per liter hydrogen electric motor, right? On a full tank of gas, this thing will power your house for a week. Yeah, you can hook this to your house, and it power your house for a week.
So they get a zombie apocalypse, the power goes out,
I want this
up, you're good to go.
So here's the thing that stresses how far we still need to take this hydrogen technology. It makes enough electricity to power your house for a week, and you can only go 300 miles.
Well, your refrigerator, your fridge doesn't run that far.
Yeah, and so
but I'm just saying, if you think about the amount of gasoline it takes you to get 300 miles, in my Golf, I need 6 gallons of diesel to make it 300 miles.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure. Yeah, that's a discrepancy, but.
But I mean,
when my fuel is free, it doesn't matter.
Right, but I mean, if we can make that much electricity with one of these, fuel cells, like, I don't see it taking an extremely long amount of time before we get really efficient motors. That is now like 1,000-mile fuel source.
Oh, sure. I mean, that would be great.
All right. Anyways, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Next one. Audi Prologue. Big, huge, gigantic A8-sized two-door coupe, like coupes are supposed to be, from Audi. It is a design study that is going to pave the way forward, and it looks still like an Audi, but different from every other Audi. I wrote the piece on this, and it's long.
You think?
and I do think you guys should read that. Well, but so much has changed, and it's all so little. So the big thing you notice is on the front of this thing, it has a huge gaping grin that the Cheshire Cat would be jealous of. So take Audi's little trapezoid grille, point the ends, and then stretch it the full length of the car. That's basically what they've done. It's massive, and it looks way different and kind of cool and interesting in a weird, ugly way. The little horizontal slats that are on all Audis, those have now been altered so that they're horizontal slats and they're nice and they're cut and they're chiseled, and then at the end they break out into a pair, so you get this sort of cool little long dual tuning fork shape. And then they've used that everywhere else on the car. So if you flip around to the rear, it's got these huge square hips like they used to get on the old Audi Ur Quattro race car. It still has those. It's got this great little duckbill spoiler that comes off the back trunk. It looks almost like an old Aston from the rear. And then the tail lights span the full length of the car in a really thin strip, and then they get real big, so it follows that same shape as the grille. The exhaust is the same way. There's a beautiful chrome trim that breaks out into a piece that's shaped into the bumper, give you that exact same shape. The inside of the car has 5 LCDs. There's a huge LCD in the dash that's your display. The entire center dash is 3 LCDs that interact and play with each other, so that's how you control the entire car. And so the passenger has their own LCD, and they can do things. We complain about not being able to enter in GPS info by a passenger. In this design, they have set up the passenger has their own screen, and they can set up the GPS info and then slide it over to your side of the dash to input a navigation point.
When I saw that, I almost did cartwheels when I was editing. I was like, oh, please do this. Please, yes.
The 5th LCD is directly in front of the shifter, and it's a flexible LCD, so when you turn off the car, it's laying flat. When you turn the car on, it curves up, and that's where all of your functions for like volume and temperature control and all that sort of stuff is. And it's curved like that so that when you have your hand on the shifter, no matter where you want to reach the screen, it's the exact same distance from the shifter, so your finger can trace the entire screen without moving your hand from the shift.
Yeah, look at that.
And the steering wheel, big and open with the interior piece where the spokes are really, really thin, and the spokes also follow that same, there's a thin chrome line in the middle, and then they break out to be that same sort of design. Has these super awesome 22-inch wheels that are just crazy and stunning, and again, they're a single spoke that break out into a Y at the end, and they're all twisted into a turbine shape inside of them. Said we already mentioned 20-inch carbon ceramic discs in the front of this thing, and it comes powered with a tuned version of the twin-turbo V8 that's in the Audi S8, and this one, it's tuned to 600 horsepower or so.
605.
Yeah, so 605. So yeah, and of course it's got quattro all-wheel drive. So Audi's new design director is trying to make a big splash, and he's trying to change the way Audi does everything. Also, really cool headlights that are smaller and sharper, more angular, because they're all matrix laser stuff. Because laser headlights are freaking awesome.
Laser.
Oh gosh, it's already 55 minutes. So also go to the site. You can check out Bentley has a new giant convertible that's going to be a Mulsanne convertible, even though they called it the Grand Convertible concept. Yeah. And we have spy shots of the Porsche Cayman GT4 that is essentially undisguised completely. So those are on the site. Go find them. Let's move to questions and answers.
Ooh, that was quick.
Yes. We have 3 questions, but really we only have 2. So Paul Green asks, LA Auto Show! Some thoughts about cars this year. What do you think about the ATS-V coupe?
Best thing ever built.
I think we covered that.
Yeah, I think we covered that. We're pretty much all in love.
Yep. Yes. Witty Derek, what do you guys think about Ken Block's latest Gymkhana video? What was your favorite part? So I had all kinds of favorite parts in the new Gymkhana video. If you guys haven't watched it, it's 12 minutes of just sex and noise.
Oh.
So he has the new Mustang RTR unicorn thing. It is a 65 Mustang shell, 800 horsepower, all-wheel drive rally car thing. My 2 favorite parts is the start of the video and the lowrider. So the video starts, he is in this warehouse, and there's a chain strapped to the back of the car that's attached to a pneumatic release system, and he just floors it. And because he's chained to the wall, the car just sits there and spins until he fills this entire building with smoke, and he's holding on to this huge pneumatic release system like you'd get on a remote control crane thing. And then after the building is filled with smoke, he just hits the button, and the chain drops, and he bolts out of this giant warehouse with just smoke everywhere. And then there's a part where there is a lowrider who's doing one of the hydraulics guys who does the bounces, and he's just sitting there bouncing the car, goosh, goosh. And as he bounces it, Ken Block is drifting circles around this car, and every time it goes up, he drifts under the car. He does it 4 times. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, my favorite part, I had to say, I agree with you on the first part. That was by far my favorite. Is just all 4 wheels lighting up, just blowing smoke. That was just freaking awesome. And I like the part in the LA tunnel, the LA River part. I think that's pretty cool. I thought that was awesome. It's always in video games, like I think GTA, you were able to go down there. What was the LA Canal? Yeah. Called. And it was pretty cool to see him go down there and do a little.
I liked it when he got off on the angle and he hit the water. It's there's one shot where he hits the drop in the angle, and the car doesn't scrape for some reason, but he hits the water, throws a huge big spray, and his front passenger side wheel isn't even touching. That's how sharp this angle is. He's just got 3 wheels.
I think it was the best Gymkhana ever. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen I think 4 of them, and it's the best one I've seen yet.
Yeah, it was a nice change of form because like 1, 2, and 3 were great, and then 4 and 5 was kind of like
Okay.
and so having a new car and a new sort of thing and some new stunts, it was pretty awesome. Do you have anything to add, Mark?
Well, I would if I had watched it.
What?
You loser!
Immediately, as soon as the podcast is over, that is your job. Watch Gymkhana.
I need to watch it. I need to.
All right.
You are excused for 12 minutes of the day. Just watch that video, and you will be better for it.
We're at 59 minutes.
Hurry!
All right.
I am really trying to keep this thing as close to an hour as possible, people, I promise. Darren007, just out of curiosity, if you could bring anyone you want as a guest to the podcast live stream, who would you invite? I would
Jay
let
Leno.
you guys go first. Jay Leno, nice choice.
Jay Leno.
Good pick. Oh God, I wouldn't even know where to start. I guess Hennessy, the John Hennessy. That's who I want to talk to.
We might be able to make that happen.
I think I can make that happen, actually.
I have 4, but really only 2. Jerry Seinfeld would be great,
Yeah,
mostly because we could just love on Porsche. Or really anyone from Top Gear UK, but having Jeremy Clarkson on, I think, would be hilarious as hell.
I think we would all just be outshined. Like,
No, like totally, maybe. I mean, I am quite charismatic, but I would love to have him on the show to have arguments about things, because I don't think me and him would agree on a lot of things, and I really want to get into just like big, awesome car guy arguments over like Aston versus Cadillac, you know, like the Vantage versus the new ATS-V sort of stuff. Like I just think that would be fun. So, since we love the ATS-V so much, let's jump into Own Drive Burn from Kirby91, who is hilarious because he says, okay, ATS-V Coupe versus Lamborghini Huracan versus Ferrari 458. Just want to see how much you love the Caddy. And
Kirby. You suck.
I'm going last on this one.
Oh, that's no fair. You're going to let us get burned first.
no, I'll go first. It's cool.
Okay, you go. All right.
All right. So I like both the Ferrari and the Lamborghini, right? They're both really cool cars, and they both come with very huge, massive heritages that everyone loves and everything like that. But at the same time, they come with a lot of baggage. They're very expensive to maintain and run. You can't drive them anywhere because you get mobbed. You can't drive them anywhere because there's probably speed bumps that you can't get over, and they're kind of flashy. So out of the two, I like the Huracan better. It's got more horsepower, and I think it looks really, really, really great. So I'm going to burn the 458. I'm going to drive the Huracan once, and then I'm going to drive the ATS-V every day because you can. And no one's going to mob you, and it is relatively cheap to maintain and run. A lot cheaper to buy because it's not $230,000, and I can go to 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds.
I'm glad you went first because now I feel okay with it. I'm pretty much in the same path, and pretty much for the exact same reasons. I don't want to have to maintain a Lamborghini or Ferrari. For every 15,000 miles, you got to take it into the shop and have $20,000 worth of tune-up work done, and then bring it back for another couple thousand miles to just do it all over again. So that said, I would have to, depending on the 458, if I had a crack at the Special, I'll take that. The Special A, I'll take that to drive once. I'll burn the Huracan only because it's the default. I have no choice. And I'll just drive the ATS all the time because it's a GM. I can fix it. Don't have to worry about falling apart on me. In 3.9 seconds, I don't need to go to 60 any faster than that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Launch control at GTR once, and you will instantly go, if I ever go for 60 in more than 3 seconds, my life is empty.
Well... That's why I won't ever drive a GTR, because I will be spoiled of cars forever.
That's the only reason to really get that to get a normal GTR is to experience launch control. Originally, if it's just the Ferrari 458, this is easy. If I can have the Speciale A, that makes it more difficult.
Since you didn't specify, let's just stick with the original.
Right. So if it's a 458, I am going. So okay, I'm gonna pick the ATS-V to drive every day as my own, but not because I think it's amazing and it's the ATS-V. It is purely because it has 3 pedals. If the other cars here were available with three pedals, the ATS-V would not even be on the table. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I love the new ATS-V, but it would be my drive once, except for the fact it has 3 pedals. So since it does have 3 pedals, I'm going to own it. I have already driven a Lamborghini. I've driven 2 of them. So even though I didn't drive a Huracan, I've already been in a pair of V10 Lamborghinis, so that'll be off to the side. And I will drive once the Ferrari 458 because I've never driven a Ferrari.
There you go. Okay.
Fair enough.
So, originally it was going to be, like, if it's the Speciale, like, I'm going to keep, and I'm going to own the 458 Speciale A because it's a 458 Speciale convertible, yes. But 3 pedals will always win me over. So there you go, Cadillac. You've won me over with just the number of pedals you have. It doesn't matter how many horsepower. It's all about pedals. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. Thank you for joining us and hanging out. Don't forget, please send us your questions, comments, own, drive, burn suggestions. We like all those. Don't forget, I have all of these to give away. So that's happening. I have 6 Xbox 360, 6 PS3. So that's a thing. The plastic makes them very, very slippery. So that is a thing that's happening.
Is that for Xbox One too?
No, the current game is only for the last gen systems. They're working on a F1 2015 that's coming out early next year instead of at the end of the season. It's coming out at the beginning of the season. And that is going to be for new gen consoles, and they're actually going to update the game as the season goes along. So if partway through the season Mercedes updates their aerodynamics package, or there's a driver change or whatever, that's going to happen in the game.
Cool. Okay. Just wanted to know.
Yeah, so Xbox 360 and PS3 only, and there's a PC version, but I don't have any of those. That's what we've got to give away. Again, please, we need questions. We need own, drive, burn suggestions. Don't forget, we love you all because you're amazing. Thank you for hanging out with us this Thursday. Please have a super awesome Friday, an incredible weekend, but stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week. Do you boys have anything to add before we go?
I'm good, man.
You good? You good?
I'm good, brother.
All right. Well, then let's play some music, and we'll call it done for the day. Goodbye, everybody.